There's no other way for me to put this. I love Konglish, and by extension, English. For those who don't know, Konglish means like Korean English, but kind of like the bad English, but kind of Korean derived or in the context of Korean things, or made by Koreans. And English is kind of like the general term for bad English, usually associated with Asian bad English. In Korea we mostly go by Konglish, and it's even a word used in Korean to describe bad English. What I really enjoy about Konglish is the fact that it's just so natural. It's a real attempt to try to get things right, and for whatever reason it goes wrong. Sometimes it sounds really good, sometimes it sounds like it's expressing things that I've never heard of, but they sound like the real thing. And I have mixed feelings about Konglish and English in music, in Japanese and Korean music. And when I listen to music in general, I don't really care what the singers are saying, because in general a lot of lyrics are just pointless or they're generic. I want the vocals, I want the singing to be another instrument. I want it to sound nice, and the words they're saying, I want them to sound phonetically pleasing. I don't really care what they're saying or what they're expressing, as long as it sounds good in the context of the music. But I don't think a song needs good lyrics to be a good song. To that extent, a lot of times I don't mind bad English in music. A good example is Hide, the deceased Japanese musician, guitarist who was the guitarist for X-Japan. He had a solo career. Most of his songs are in Japanese, but there are a few that are in English, and the lyrics are just madness. But they are beautiful madness, and they perfectly fit the music that he was writing. And the way he pronounces the words and the way he expresses them match the whole feel. It matches his personality, and it matches the tone of the music. To cite a good example of Konglish, how about, I used to really like the group Jowry. They had some songs that were in English, and it just sounded really good in the context of the song, and it sounded close enough to being meaningful still. The times when Konglish or English really gets bad is when it stands out for the attempt to be English just for the sake of being English. Like those popular Wonder Girls songs, any of them, or their song Nobody. The entire song, the rhythm is just structured around the rhythm of the word nobody. And okay, I guess it's a word that fits rhythmically in the song, but it just feels kind of pointless. Like, are you just showing us the newest word you learned? Just because it's English, does that make it somehow more interesting? I mean, I know that in especially Japan and Korea, that English is kind of a trend for songs and a trend for other cultural, societal, marketing things. But it would be good if they tried to really only to use it correctly. I feel it's worth criticizing because these things are being released publicly. I mean, I'm not gonna write a song in Korean that has really bad Korean and then release that publicly. You know, if I do that, fine, feel free to make fun of it. But in general, I have no problem with, bad English in songs, as long as it feels right, as long as it sounds good, as long as the song itself is good. Feel free to come up with some clever uses of English. But please try to write some good music, and that is all I have to say about Konglish.